custom post type is added to WordPress to complement the core posts and pages. A custom post type may be an e-commerce page, like the product pages you see on Amazon. They might be a project page where you display a project completed by your company. They might be a job page where you display a job vacancy, or maybe an event page. There's lots of different ways in which you can utilize a custom post type, and they are typically created in combination with custom fields. And these custom fields are added to the custom post type so that you can essentially develop a much more complex content management system inside WordPress. The real benefit with a custom post type is that you've essentially got lots of different data fields where the user who has access to the administration dashboard simply adds text or images or other particular data. And then that information is displayed on the front end of the site in a particular design. It's a great way of controlling the process so that the person who has access to the administration dashboard can't mess up the way in which things look on the front end. So the process that you need to follow when creating a custom post type in WordPress and then adding specific custom fields can be fairly complex if you're new to WordPress, and indeed if you're not aware of CSS, PHP, or indeed specific design programs. Now, the first part of the process I'd suggest is to create a PSD and JPEG design. Now, this is good because it gives you a visual representation of exactly what the post type is going to look like on the front end of the site. And you can also assess all of the fields that might be required for the custom post type. The next part of the process is to duplicate your theme and create a child theme. And the benefits of this is that you can add specific PHP and CSS that is going to be only associated with your child theme and therefore not overwrite your actual theme. This is great because when your actual theme updates, it won't cause any problems with your child theme. So definitely a good approach to take. The next part of the process is to actually create the custom post type. And obviously your custom post type might be called projects, it might be called testimonials, or it might be called product pages. It depends on what the custom post type is for. And once you've done that, you need to create taxonomies, which are going to be associated with the custom post type. And taxonomies are like categories or ways in which you want to split up your custom post types into groups. So let's say you had a custom post type called movies. You may want to have taxonomies called actors. Therefore, you can list lots of different actors that are going to be associated with your movies. The next part of the process I would suggest is to upload a dashboard icon for the custom post type so that it is easily identifiable in your WordPress dashboard. The next part is to create all the custom fields and then link them to the post type. Now, there's different custom fields that you can use, from very basic text fields and text areas to more complex image galleries, file fields, embed fields, and so on. There's plenty of options available. I won't go into detail on exactly how you add those fields, but in short, you can add all sorts of different options to your custom post type. I suggest that you add a dummy post, and initially you need to add some data to a Word document and prepare all the images that you want to add to your custom post type. This will help you when you're going through the phase of testing the design and making sure that everything works correctly. So having all that dummy content ready is a good idea. And once you've got that far, this is where the complexity starts to come into play. You may not know how to do all the front end design and basically do things like show images in a slider or a particular gallery function, for example, or indeed having fancy boxes for your images. In that instance, you may need to add FTP files. So add some jQueries and other FTP files which then link to your particular custom post type. This is where it gets a little bit complex and you may need a developer to help you. You may also need a developer to help you with the PHP associated with creating the custom post type. In short, what you'll do is create custom post type.php, and in there the PHP will pull the data from the custom post type to show it on the front end. Once you've done that, the raw data is shown on the front end, and then you need to style that information. So you'll add colors, particular fonts to make it look pretty on the front end. And once you've done that, you've got the post type on its own ready to go. It looks good on the front end. But typically with the custom post type, you want to show all of your custom post types on one page. So with Amazon, it's guitars, for example, that it sells. You'd want to display all of the different guitars that are available on one page. As such, you'll then need to display multiple posts in a grid or index. So you have one custom post type, and then you replicate that over and over again, and then you display all of those on one page, and then your users click through to each individual custom post type. The next part of this video, we're going to go through exactly the plugins that you might want to use as part of this process. We won't go into exactly how you use those plugins, or indeed other parts of the process that I'm going to show you, but I want to just give you an idea of exactly what the process is, and then in further videos we'll go through the details of exactly what you do to set up a post type, how you set up the taxonomies, and then some of the other tasks that you need to do, including custom fields and the PHP, etc. The first part of the process is to create a PSD design in Photoshop, and this will give you an appreciation for where the fields are going to be located on the front end of the website. So where the title will appear, the various text and paragraphs that you add in the back end of the website, images, buttons, and other fields that you may add to your custom post type. Now, of course, once you've done this, you can create a JPEG, which can be sent to developers who will be creating your PHP and CSS. And of course, once you've got this design sorted, you then know the fields that you're going to require inside the back end of your WordPress website. As such, the design gives you a platform to start doing the rest of the process. In terms of the plugins that I'd suggest you install, first of all, I'd install the duplicate theme plugin. And this enables you to obviously duplicate your theme and then create a child theme. And the benefit of a child theme is that you're able to add specific CSS, PHP, and other coding as necessary for this project and also for other areas of development on your website. And the principal benefit being that when you update your theme, you won't actually override any content that you've completed for your custom post type work. So it's a good way of managing all of the coding necessary for your custom post type project without causing any problems to your theme. The next part of the process is to install the custom post type UI plugin. And this enables you to actually add a custom post type. So therefore, project pages, product pages, testimonial pages, or whatever your custom post type is. And it also enables you to add taxonomies that are going to be associated with that custom post type. Therefore, categories which are going to split up your custom post type. So if you are a construction company and you're going to create project custom post types, you may need categories associated with the different types of work that you do. So it might be residential, it might be commercial, it may be refurbishments, it may be energy saving projects. So you want to split your projects up into different categories and therefore taxonomies. And that can be done using the custom post type UI plugin. The next plugin is a fairly straightforward one. It's called CPT Custom Icon, and it enables you to add a basic icon next to your custom page in the left-hand side of your WordPress dashboard. And this is a good idea because it enables you to see exactly where the custom page is and differentiates it from all of the other options in the WordPress dashboard. So a good idea for your custom post type, and then adding the custom fields, which is the next plugin which you need to install. And the best plugin I would suggest is Advanced Custom Fields. And you can add this plugin from the WordPress repository. It is free. Or alternatively, you can purchase the Pro version, which gives you some more complex fields if indeed you're creating custom post types that have plenty of different requirements and you need more complexity. With these plugins installed, you can then move on to adding the custom post type. To do so, you simply scroll down the left-hand side of the WordPress administration dashboard, hover on CPT UI, and then click on Add or edit post types. And here you need to fill in all the particular fields. And I won't go into depth in exactly how you do that in this video. I'm simply going to focus on the process. And once you've done that, you click on Add Post Type. The next thing you need to do is add a taxonomy. And similarly, you can scroll down the left-hand side and click on Add Edit Taxonomies. And here you will fill in the fields in very much the same way that you would for adding a new post. Once you've done that, you can go to the CPT icon settings, and to do so you click on the settings on the left hand side of WordPress and scroll down to CPT custom icon. Here you can find the custom post type that has been created. In this example, we've already created the custom post type called custom pages, and you can see it listed on the left hand side here, custom page. And for that one, you need to just choose an icon and then pick one. And once you click Save Changes, you'll see that the icon appears on the left-hand side next to Custom Page. Once you have an icon in place, you can then proceed to adding custom fields. To do so, you'd need to scroll down the left-hand side of the WordPress administration dashboard and find custom fields. First of all, you'd need to click on Add New. And when you do that, you'll be asked to complete a new group. And you may wish to choose to call this something related to an area on the front end of the site where these fields are going to be located. So for example, you might want to call this Project Details. And then within that, you'd have a series of text fields associated with Project Details. Once you've added the title of the group, you click on Add Field. And then you go through the process of adding the data such as the field label, the name, you'd pick the actual field type, any instructions that you want the user to have in the back end of WordPress so that they fill in the custom post type correctly. Whether the field is required or not, I typically suggest that most fields should be yes. Otherwise, why bother having it in the custom post type in the first place? And then some other particular fields that are relevant to each field. Some of the options vary for each field, but in short, I won't go into the depth of explaining each field in detail here, but essentially you can create lots of different fields and add them to different groups. One of the key options that you do need to put in place here within a group is to make sure that the field group is applied to the custom post type that you selected. So right now the post type is equal to post. So we need to change that. It needs to be equal to custom page, which is the custom post type that we've created. If your custom post type is testimonials or job or events or maybe product page, that would be listed here and you can choose it. And then once you've set up your field group, you'd simply scroll up and click on Publish. You'll then find that once all of your field groups are created, you'll have a page that looks something like this that displays all of your field groups. In this example, what we've done is to add all of the different fields that are associated with advanced custom fields into the associated groups that they belong to within the plugin. So in advanced custom fields, there are 6 fields that are associated with the group basic fields, 5 with choice fields, and so on. So if we're to click on Edit for basic fields, we'll then see all of the different fields that are located within that group. And once you've done all of this and you've added all of the different groups, you're then able to go to the custom page on the left hand side, click on Add New, and then you can start to create your custom page or post, as you might want to call it, in the back end of your WordPress website. And here is the custom page example that we've set up. I've added the title and all of the dummy data which I've prepared already. And if you scroll down, you'll notice all of the different fields on the left hand side, including the basic fields from the Advanced Custom Fields plugin, the text field, text area, number field, email, URL, password, and then into all sorts of other fields that are associated with the Advanced Custom Fields plugin. So you can see image, file field, gallery field, and so on. I'm not going to go into detail on how this is all constructed, all the options and so on and so forth, but basically you'll notice that this looks a lot different to a normal standard WordPress post or page. It's basically lots of different fields and a completely different structure. Now, the process, of course, is to try and make this content look pretty and nice on the front end of your website. And of course, you want to try and get it look something like this on the front end. Now, this particular design is a little bit haphazard and all over the place because I wanted to show how you can do various things with the content that is in the back end and then show it in different ways on the front end. So what you'll find on the front end is static content, which is always going to be there as part of the design. And then it's also going to show the specific details from the post as shown here by the text area, and also the other black content that's on the right hand side here. So if you scroll down this page, you'll see lots of different content that's associated with the custom post type that I've created. Now, as I said, this design is not perfect and it's not meant to be. It's essentially showing you how you can take the content from the custom post type and then display it in different ways on the front end. Now, as I said earlier, this is the slightly complex part of the process. And in short, to show this information, as you can see here, requires two things to be done, really. A combination of PHP and CSS. So this page will typically, on many themes and many websites, be a single PHP file for the custom post type. And then that PHP information essentially pulls data from the database and then shows it on the front end. And then together with that, you'll have CSS, which styles it to make it look pretty. So you'll have a specific font, as you might see here. You may have a specific color, as you'll see here, and also a background that's spread across the wrapper. So what you may then have, if we click on the next tab, is information in your functions PHP file, which then links to this new single custom post type PHP. And you'll then have CSS, which links to any PHP which you add to your website. Furthermore, you may have files which are added via FTP to your website. So for example, you'd add it in the WP content themes folder, and then that might include jQuery files and other CSS that's necessary to operate the front end of the website. So for example, if we scroll down, we've got the slider shown on the left hand side here and also the gallery images. And for them to work exactly like this, we need to add information in the back end using FTP, add all that information to a folder, and then the PHP that's associated with this single custom post type links to that information so that obviously you can show the slider in this particular design and then the images on the right hand side. Now, with this particular website, it's slightly different because this website utilizes the Headway theme. And with Headway, you can take a slightly different approach because the CSS and PHP can be added in the visual editor of Headway. Now, if you're not familiar with Headway, it basically enables you to add lots of different blocks. So in this design, you'll see that the WYSIWYG editor field, OEmbed field, and various other content is located all the way down the page. Now, this is a fairly complex custom post type, which basically you wouldn't create in normal circumstances. But this post type has been created to show you exactly what all of the fields can do. Now, this particular OEmbed field actually has the PHP content within it. So if I was to right mouse button on that, and I've got it located down here, and I click on this icon here, you'll then see the PHP is within the custom code block of Headway. And this code pulls the data from the database and therefore the custom post type and delivers it on the front end. What it doesn't do is style the way in which it looks on the front end. So the OEmbed field information here and the size of this video is not styled here. I may need to go to my child theme CSS and add some styling to make sure that it looks appropriate here. And also with Headway, I can actually go to their design editor and do some of the styling in there because it's a different theme, which gives you different flexibility in terms of adding design. So in short, what I'm really getting at here is that 2/3 of this process, or maybe just under 2/3 if you want to be a little bit more precise, is fairly straightforward. You can add the custom post type, you can get the design the way you want it to look, fairly sorted in the first instance, but once you get onto the process of adding PHP and then CSS and then making sure that it is responsive, you can then come up against some challenges if you're not a developer or you understand CSS and PHP. So make sure that you're prepared for outsourcing that and making sure that someone can do that effectively for you. Or indeed, if you're aware of how to use Headway, then of course you can follow this type of process and add PHP to blocks and then style them as necessary once you've done that. Now, once you've got the PHP and all the necessary functions in place, you can then move to displaying all of your custom post types on one page. So as I said earlier, when you go to someone like Amazon or an e-commerce page, they'll have all of the particular products in a category on one page, or they may have all of their products shown on the home page if they're a very small basic e-commerce page. So you'd want to have a page that looks something like this, where you display all of your custom pages, and then you could simply click on each custom page and then go through to the individual page that would look something like this. So you display all custom pages on a particular page and then you link through. There you have the process for creating a custom post type with custom fields in a WordPress website. Obviously, a custom post type complements normal posts and pages and gives you the opportunity to develop a much more complex content management system inside WordPress. Really and truly, the benefit of having custom post types is that you can be a lot more controlled about the way you add data to your back end of WordPress and then show that information in a consistent format on the front end. Remember though that custom post types can be used for various different solutions and you can have multiple on your website. So you can set up a custom post type for projects, for product pages, for testimonials, and multiple solutions on your website. And finally, remember this process is just a guide. Of course, you're free to develop it and change it however you wish. But I hope it has been useful, and of course leave any comments below this video if you have any questions.